Welcome to Casual Friday. Hey there, Stuckers. It's Josh, as joined every week by my co-host Cel and special guest Dustin Soflin. Welcome, Dustin,
Hey guys,
to Casual Fridays. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Just getting through the day here.
Excellent, excellent. Cel, you?
I'm doing well. It's 8 p.m. and I still have 2 more hours to go. So let's rally, guys.
You got you ready for this?
I have a glass of white wine tonight. So
We're classing it
lubed
up.
up.
Very nice, very nice.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the
All
drink
right.
last week?
What was the drink last week?
I was hydrating last week. I didn't drink. I was just drinking water. I
that
know.
that
getting
was weird.
prepared.
That was weird. It's noon where me and Dustin are, and so I'm still caffeinating with some chai.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, for sure. 3 cups of coffee in so far this morning, so that's
Excellent,
nice.
Oh my
excellent.
God.
Dustin, for all the YouTubers out there, you you look casual-ish, but like not like you got to Cel's level of casual.
I know.
Also, like your bed's made, which Patrick
Yeah,
Olivas
that's a
would be
little
proud
ridiculous.
of. But very very clean background. You just your hair is perfect, as is mine.
Yeah, I was gonna say like yours
And
is always
mine.
perfect, Josh. Celestina's looks great too.
Go for big hair, don't care, you know?
That's
Yeah.
me too. Yeah. So Dustin, you go big hair, don't care if you're going to be on our
That's true.
podcast.
I got to get some
apparently.
volume in this for sure.
Yeah,
Go grab
yeah.
some moose or
Up in
something.
there. All right, Dustin. Well, for our audience who doesn't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure. So, like you said, I'm Dustin. I'm here in Albuquerque. I'm a financial planner at an agency called Capital Strategies over here. And we deal with, making sure that there's protection for people's families as well as their business, making sure that, if something happens to them, their families will be taken care of, they'll be taken care of, as well as planning for the future, making sure that, we have something to rely on in the future, and, just making sure that when they want to retire, that's their choice, not just because they're getting old or because they have to, but, on their own terms. And some people don't want to retire and work the rest of their life, and some people want to retire in 10 years. And sometimes we got to say, sorry, like, can't do that, but we'll try.
Cool. And the reason we brought you on is because I want to retire next year. So
oh, sweet. Yeah. No, we can definitely do that for sure.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
We'll
Cool.
get you going.
So I feel
great.
like this isn't something that people would think of as like a solopreneur entrepreneur, but like it's not like clients are handed to you, right? Like just give us some background here.
Yeah. So, you're exactly right. It's not like I just go in and have, a huge call sheet that someone gives me and they just say, here's some calls, make them. It's, really a lot of referrals from current clients. Typically how you start off in the business is reaching out, like any other business, reaching out to your family and friends and kind of letting them know what you're doing now. And, once you kind of get through that natural market, how do we market it? How do we get out there into the community and, reach out to people and get people hearing our name and, just getting to other people and finding a market that works for you. And, so it's a lot like starting a business. I just luckily have backing from a larger company, which gives us, no marketing dollars, unfortunately. I wish it all comes from me. But having that kind of a backup from a strong company is the nicer part of it, because I'm not starting at zero, but I am starting at zero. You know what I mean?
Right. So you individually are like just you with that backing of the company. So you're kind of like commission salesman type of situation, but I would say my ignorant perspective on what you do. You tell me, you correct this, but
Sure.
I would say it's a little more like owning your own business than being like a car lot salesman or something like that, where they really kind of an employee and they get
Mm-hmm.
commissions. Like you're very much kind of your own thing with the
Yeah.
backing of a company and like an office building, and that's nice. But
Mm-hmm.
right,
Yeah,
is that
that's
right?
correct. I'm a salesperson. I sell, life insurance and other insurance products.
Mm-hmm.
But, they're long-term products, like 10, 20, 30 years we're looking at on there. Or, if I'm helping someone out with their investments and retirement, they might be 20 or 30 and we've got 30, 40 years on that. So like, yes, it is commission sales and, I'm selling things, but, it's more about building that relationship with the client and building up that trust, because it's not something that, used car salesman just sells you the car and then says, see you later. And, as long as he got a good price on that car, his, management or whatever is telling him good job. Me, like, I'm talking to people once a quarter, at least once a year, typically once a quarter is a little more, making sure that they're on track with the financial plan. Everything's going well. We've paid down debts, we're putting more into our savings and things like that. And, on that side, I'm a little bit more of like an accountability partner. I'm not a bank or anything, so I don't hold people's savings or anything. But that's something we talk about, is making sure that there's like an emergency fund set up. So making sure we know what that number is and how are we going to get there through our budget, and how do we put in some protection planning to make sure if something happens, that still goes. So it's a longer term view on everything, and it's kind of building up a partnership or a relationship with the client and building that trust. So I'm always going to be coming back to them.
Yeah, you are you sound, with just by the nature of your work, you sound the most adult of the three of us. And how old are you, Dustin?
I'm 26 years old.
26 years old. Young of the three of us.
It's just it's the voice. It's what I
It's the
it's what I
voice,
was
it's the
given.
topic, it's the suits. It's the...
Oh yeah, it's this collar. Trust me, if I had like a
Yeah.
t-shirt on right now, I'd be
Yeah.
like out of professional mode. But you
Okay.
caught me.
so
So
with that kind of that kind of a job that's pretty much your own business,
Mhm.
where are you, how long have you been doing this, and what are you struggling with right now? What are you trying to do to get yourself to
Sure.
the next level in your profession?
Yeah, so I'm a little bit over 4 years into the business now. So in August, that was 4 years. So we're a couple
wow,
months past that. Yeah, yeah, I
that's
can't
wild.
believe it.
Time freaking flies, man.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm looking back, I'm like, 4 years of this? Like, I've been going through this for that long? Jeez, it's just crazy. And then to think that, like, that was also like when I graduated college was, May 2016. So I'm like, dang, I am getting old. But yeah, so I'm in for about 4 years now, or not about 4 years and a little more. Um, and kind of it, this is kind of the first year that I've started feeling a lot more comfortable in the job. Really knowing what I'm doing, how and what to say in front of clients when I'm with them, how to, have harder conversations with them, especially, in March when the market was down, 30% or whatever, it was some tough calls like, hey, here's what it is. But, as, financial planner, financial advisor, whatever you want to call it, um, if I make those calls to somebody when the market's down like that, rather than waiting for them to call me, I think that kind of sets me up ahead of other people, because no one wants to have that hard conversation. But if I go out and seek that, then one, it's better for me, because, now I'm kind of getting some practice, for lack of a better word, with talking to people about that, because it's going to happen over the next 20, 30 years of my career. Um, so I got to get used to having that conversation, and, how to settle people down, and make sure that we stay on track with everything. But yeah, so in this past year, I've gotten a lot more comfortable, and it's been a lot smoother sailing despite a pandemic and having
That's
to
good.
like figure out how to transition business to, over Zoom and everything like that. And, how to continue prospecting for new clients and things like that. And then just finally finding kind of a market that I wanted to work in. So, in the beginning, it was pretty tough for me because I don't have that great of like a natural market, is what they call, like friends, family, friends, things like that, who would be good as clients and things like that to really kind of jumpstart you. So, from the beginning for me, it was pretty tough going right out the gate, right out of college. All I knew were a bunch of other broke 22-year-olds. Everybody's still working in the bars or, whatever it is. Most
They're
of
not
them
rolling
still
in
are.
it ready to invest and stuff. Right.
I mean, I'm doing investing on my own, but not rolling in it. Not yet, at least. I mean, it might look clean back there, but you should have seen it 10 minutes before this turned on. Had to tidy the bed up a little bit. Patrick would not have been proud of me on that one.
No.
But yeah, so it's getting more comfortable now. Some things I'm struggling with now still is, how do I prospect? How do I get new clients in? Because before all this, me and my business partner, Bobak, were very much doing like conferences, tabling at events and like golf tournaments and going into like residency programs and things like that. In order to get out there and put ourselves out there and go to networking events and all that. So that's been a struggle of mine is, figuring out how I'm going to reach out to more people and get back into the community now that we've all kind of been out of it for, 8 months or however long it's been. 2 weeks feels like it. But
a decade or so. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. All of my later 20s. Pretty sweet. But it's just kind of figuring out where I'm going to bring people in now, and how to get this to continue to keep going.
I think you're doing an excellent job by being on a super popular podcast like ours.
Oh yeah,
everyone's gonna flock to you.
Oh yeah,
right.
I was telling people, I was like, I'm gonna be celebrity after this, man.
Yeah, total celebrity.
I was in a Yahoo Finance article over the weekend, which was kind of cool.
Oh damn!
Yeah,
Look at you, fancy pants.
Big wig stuff.
Yeah, you're just rocket. You're on a rocket, man.
It's just been this week.
Yeah,
calling it too early, but maybe one day I'll be a celeb.
So what else are you trying to do in pandemic times to the work and with all the conferences and stuff canceled?
Yeah, still kind of trying to figure that one out. Obviously because conferences aren't really happening anymore, right? We're seeing a handful turn into like video conferences, and we're not entirely sure like where we're gonna fit in on that one, right? Because
that seems harder to fit in and show up in a way that people are aware of you and your brand.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, you're just a little box on Zoom like everybody else, Not like here's your table,
No, yeah, and that's the big thing is we'd get like a table or something, and we'd have materials out and stuff that people could look at, and we'd they'd come up and we'd talk to them or whatever, and
right.
It's just like, how do we do that on a Zoom conference with a bunch of dentists or whatever is at the conference, and like actually be a part of it and bring value to them, when it's just like you said, a box on a screen.
Yeah, and I wonder too what conferences are like digital conferences are doing, because they of course still want sponsors, right?
Yeah.
But they need to provide value to lure said sponsors like yourself in.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if it like looking into them more and just kind of see what upcoming digital conferences are going to be offering, and if they don't have any ideas, like even just a like a commercial, like a video commercial that plays sponsors before certain sections would be nice, because you don't have that visibility of the table brochure. you're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I think where people are going right now is everything social media, right? Like more so now, like within like the last 8 months than anything. So that could be a different way of doing it. So providing like information, maybe having like a separate social media account as the expert financial advisor for whatever your niche is, right? So like
Yeah.
you are that person for that niche, and then you can, um, it's called social selling, based
Okay.
off of and like reaching out to people who like fit that niche. So for example, I know like a couple of years ago you were looking for people who were in like the medical marijuana or like the like grow ops like industry. So like seeking those people out and being like, hey, like you are in an awesome industry. I help you and people in your industry save for retirement, and like reaching out to those people in particular and putting
Yeah.
yourself out as the expert financial advisor for people in the marijuana industry or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
But that can be a really good way to build those relationships, even though they are virtual. I mean, whether you're working with someone in New Mexico, I don't know what your licensing like encompasses, but
Yeah,
like
it
if you
gets a
have to
little.
stay within New Mexico, but like that could be something that you do. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would probably be something great if I could figure out, kind of how to do that on a social platform. So that's a really good idea, Celestina. Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
listen to the last
that's
like
great.
8 weeks I've been doing that.
Do I
Listen
have
to the
to
last
do
like
I have
eight
to like
casual
send you
Fridays.
part of my commissions
Yeah,
for that
that's how
idea?
this works.
Or
That's
is
how
that
I
this
how
mean,
this
works.
works?
Welcome
that's
to
out of your
Casual
mouth, not mine.
If you execute any of our ideas, you have to pay us $50,000. Welcome to Casual Friday.
Wait, what am I on again? Yeah, I
Another
mean I think that'd be a really good idea is try to get on social media, as another way to get out there and, get in front of those business owners and try to target them.
yeah.
With my industry, it's a little sticky on like what we can kind of say compliance wise and things like that, but they definitely do allow us to make like posts and things like that. So, I think if I kind of try to tiptoe around and figure out what I can and can't put up there and stuff like that, I think that'd
Yeah.
be a really good idea.
You know what I was
And I think,
thinking? I keep hearing that people are, as far as like lead generators online, shareable things, and it's like one thing to have like a free downloadable PDF like I have, but like people are really into quizzes.
Oh, okay.
And I think in history it could be really interesting if you had like a fun kind of spin on like how financially
healthy.
secure am I, healthy, there you
Oh,
go,
yeah.
yeah, like
There we
like
go.
financial health check quiz, right? and
Chel's
and
got
you
all
just
the
ask the questions
marketing
you
words.
basically would ask any client, right? and then you give them a score, and then they
Yeah,
and that they, if they can plug in their email to get access to the quiz, then you can follow up with them,
that's
hopefully
true.
like see their score and give them like super healthy, great job, if you need anything. But like other people that you're
hmm
like, you need help in this area, here's how I can help.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be a really good idea. Just saying, like being able to look at those results and, someone's like, oh, I don't have that or whatever. Um, and just reaching out and saying, hey, looked at this. Thanks for filling that out. That's great. It looks like you could use some help in this. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, even if that
absolutely.
turns into like a 15-minute like discovery call and they don't necessarily become a client right away, I mean, at least you have their email address and like you can continue sending them information.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Whether it's like positive information or like about the market or whatever it may be. But
hmm
I think it's like you have to reach out to someone like 10 to 12 times before they are more willing to commit to you. So it's
Okay.
for a long game, but that can be worthwhile.
Yeah. And just, having that, quick introduction to them and just kind of knowing at least a little bit about them right off the bat, is pretty good. And, that's anytime I can get someone on the phone for 15 minutes to talk about themselves, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll
Absolutely,
take that
yeah.
over anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Well, Chell, let's check in with you. What has your week been?
Okay, so update number one, I put more air in my bouncy ball. It's quality,
there we
guys.
go.
Ooh, I need to.
Are you like sitting on like one of those yoga ball
Priorities?
things?
Hell
Or-
yeah.
Nice.
Are you not on the yoga ball crew?
No, I'm on a broken leather chair right now. One of the legs broke, and I just have been too lazy to either try to fix it or buy a new chair.
That
So
sounds
I'm
good,
just
bro.
trying.
That
Like
sounds
you'll
pretty
see me
good.
like adjust myself every now and then because I'll think of like John Clausen and how he'd be yelling at me if I wasn't sitting up straight. So
That's why I brought it up, though.
Not like
I
that.
I was super slouchy the other day. So problem number one fixed. Okay,
right.
so other problems from last week were lack of motivation, which was still kind of funky this week. But I figured
That's
out
definitely a
that
hard
like,
one.
right? But I figured out that like if I get up early and like by early I mean like 5:30, go for a run and then like work out afterwards, I am so much more productive in my day versus today slept in a little bit because the sun doesn't rise until like 7:30 in Germany. Fun fact.
God.
Yeah, it sucks. Wintertime here is rough. But like if I sleep in, I'm not motivated until like noon. So like that's 4 hours that I lost this morning. So I'm going to continue to try and get up early, get motivated, whether it's like going for a walk or a run in the morning. And like, that's going to help with motivation. I also started listening to podcasts again. Forgot about podcasts.
Do you listen to this one? Because I have a great podcast called Unstuck.
Unstuck
It is
Institute.
pretty
I've heard
good.
of that one.
Unstuck
Oh
Institute.
yeah.
Have you guys been there? Have you guys seen that?
I have. Yeah. I'm pretty involved.
I think I'm watching it right
now. Wait, is this what we're doing?
But like motivational podcasting, like things that we know, things that we've talked about, like I just need to hear from someone else. It's ridiculous, but like that I've done that this week and it's been so helpful. Things that we've talked about on our show, like all the time. And it's like, oh, maybe I should do that. So that was a great reminder to get my shit together. Oh my God. Sweet, man.
Yeah. And like on that, having a morning routine and getting up early, that's one thing that I found out, a while ago that really helped me like stay motivated because I have that lack of motivation all the time. I think we all do. But, getting up at the same time every day and kind of like having that routine where you go for a walk or a run and exercise and make breakfast and all that really just like gets your day started. And how I see it is if you start the day off marking things off of tasks and like winning in your early morning hours, then you're just going to carry that attitude throughout the day.
Oh, 100%. I'm totally. A million times more productive on days when I do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at that, listeners. Another person coming in going like morning routine.
Morning
we talk about it all the time. All our guests mention it. Like it's common trope, but the people who do it really find that it works.
So I think I found that like when I'm go and I have a million things on my schedule, I am so much more productive. Like when I was like still cooking at people's houses and like going food shopping, going to their houses, having to go for like a consulting gig after, and like then coming home and like planning menus or whatever, like I am so much more productive when I have a full plate versus when I only have like 5 things on a checklist that I have to check off. And I'm like, it'll take me like 2 hours. I'm fine. I don't need to do that right now. Like that is what keeps me motivated, having shit to do. And not having like a full client load right now is making me really unproductive. That's what I've noticed. So in continuation of all of this, I'm still doing outreach. A bunch of like, I'm still doing like 15 to 20 people with outreach. And the other day I found, okay, so fun fact. Right now, Instagram is not doing the recent. So like if you search a hashtag, they're only doing like top hashtags, not recent posts on hashtags because of the election in the States. So that's good. So so that you're not like transferring fake news, whatever that may be. Oh my God, that's your little addition.
We got another, we got a
Hi, Pooper Scoop. You guys can see it on YouTube. So Instagram is not doing any recent posts right now for fear of like messing with the election and like fake news. I understand that completely. But for business and reaching out to potential prospects, it is a pain in the ass. But I found a couple of like mom working at mom working group, whatever that is, on Instagram. And that's been really successful this week in not only getting people to follow me, but getting some awesome traction and people who potentially need my services. So um, I guess in going with that, so like in addition to doing the 15 to 20 people outreach daily, I've also secured 3 15-minute phone calls for this coming weekend, in addition to like the couple that I had last week.
There you go.
So
Nice.
that's really good. Yeah. And like,
killing it.
And I think it just all starts to come together, right? Like you find, like you were saying, Dustin, like you find out and like you figure out what you're saying, and it doesn't feel as forced and awkward anymore. So that like you're just having a conversation, and then you like casually like toss in, hey, I can probably help you like brainstorm some of this if you want to hop on a quick call. And it doesn't feel forced and salesy, you know?
Yeah. And that's, the thing is getting, comfortable, because all of us have the problem when we start our own business or anything is, how do I go out to these people and, reach out and tell them what I do without feeling all salesy about it. Right. And like trying to push it on them. And then, once you you got to do that. I mean, you got to figure out what works for you, how to make it sound for like you rather than like a script or anything. And then, you get comfortable in it, and then you're just having conversations with people, and, all of a sudden something pops up and you're like, oh, well, we can help do that or whatever, So it's definitely getting comfortable, and that, just takes being super busy like you. So
yeah. And it takes that, and like I think getting over imposter syndrome. That was another podcast that I listened to this week. But like it's something we talk about, and like we struggle with it, but I think hearing it from someone else's perspective and just like resonating, like, dude, it happens to everyone. Get the fuck over it and just do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes I hear the same thing, like how to get over imposter syndrome, come up on multiple podcasts in the same week that I'm listening to. And like it's super helpful. Like it's not, you would think like, oh, they're talking about the same thing, I'm going to skip it. Like it really is helpful to have a different voice, have their spin on the same, and then like internalize that in a different way. I had the same thing. Like there was a point about a week, maybe two, that there was something on a podcast that I was like, I knew that, but like but I totally forgot about it, and it just kind of motivated my work in a different way. And I was like, I'm just glad these ideas keep circulating and keep popping up, and that's why I keep listening to podcasts and audiobooks and
that
stuff.
happens a lot in like my office too. We'll get like a new guy in, starting advisor, kind of like going through the motions and everything, and our like sales manager and some of the like more senior advisors, and us will always like try to tell them like, hey, you need to do this and that, here's what you say to this, or here's what you say to that, or here's what you need to do, you know and then for whatever reason it doesn't seem to like hit, and then they hear like the exact same thing from somebody else, from like our Austin office or something like that, and then all of a sudden they're like all about it. So I think it definitely does. Sometimes you just need that like second voice, that different person to tell you the same exact thing. That way it finally like hits on you, and it's like, oh man, this works for. And maybe it's just like a subconscious, like, I've heard this same thing from the same person, so I tune out a little bit, and you just kind of brain goes out. But then when you hear it from someone you don't normally hear that from, or like a new person or something like that, I don't know, maybe it just makes your brain turn on a little more or something. I don't know.
I think it's our need to fit into the community, like be tribal as humans, right? And so like if one person says it, great, it might hit you well the right way, it might not, but eventually it just becomes, oh, that's that person's thing, they're really into that for some reason, whether you like it or not, right? It's just kind of that. But then once two or three people who aren't really connected to that person have the same idea, then I think we all kind of want to fit in, if that makes sense, right? We was like, oh, well, if everyone's saying this, it could just be two, three, but all of a sudden it feels like everyone, and I want to fit in.
Yeah, that could be it too. We're all just trying to be okay with each other.
Right?
For real. So, what about you, Josh? Did you get shit done this week?
Oh man, I have so I mentioned I have not mentioned again in this podcast for a while. I hired an assistant like a month or so ago.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and that has been a lot of work to train, right?
Yeah.
And I expected this, but even though I'm expected this, and I'm like, I think I'm better at like accepting the delegation than a lot of solopreneurs are when they start out. Um, it was still like, oh, it's just easier for me to do this than to like explain it to you, kind of a thing, right? Um, sometimes, but for the most part, I'm just like pushing through. Like I've figured out, like, so we're asynchronous. We don't work in the office at the same. She works with hours she can work, um, and so I figured out a few ways to keep us going and checking in without having to like sit down and have a meeting or a Zoom or anything like that.
Yeah.
So a couple of things I've been playing with that I wanted to share with you guys is Trello.com. Ever heard of it?
Okay.
It's like a posting board kind of organization thing. You can use it so many different ways, and there's people who've made videos and templates on it. Just check it out.
Okay.
It's basic, is totally free, but about it is it's also
Like
shareable.
free.
Yeah. So you can both get accounts. Like me and my assistant have an account. We have a shared like to-do list that like we have our own to-do lists, our like daily to and we can drag items back and forth freely and on each other's stuff. So this is how I'm assigning her tasks. I'm just putting
Hmm.
a little card in her Trello to-do list saying this is high priority this week. This is how you do it. And here's instructions if it's something she hasn't done before, right?
That's
And
cool.
then whenever she gets to it, she's just got all the information in one place. She doesn't have to like go through her inbox and be like, which email from Josh is it? Just all right there.
Yeah.
So super nice. And then
Okay.
there's a screen recording software, Loom, Loom, that
Oh, I've
is
heard of Loom.
also free, like 5 minutes or something like that. And then you have to pay for it. But what's nice about it is it does screen recording, great, but it automatically uploads to like a YouTube kind of situation, not YouTube, Loom's website. So you don't have to like screen record and then manually put things up on YouTube yourself and then send out a link and it's public or private and all this crap, right? Like it's just on Loom. And so as soon as you're done recording, it just automatically opens the web page already hosted on Loom. And then you can
Oh,
just
okay.
copy that link and send it out. And what I love about it, listen to podcasts at 2x. You can watch these training that I'm making for my assistant at 1x, 1.5, 2x, even 3x. So like people who are aggressive like me can go fast, but you don't have to, but it's an option. So I just put that link in the card in Trello and be like, this is how you do it. And I just walk her through it.
Oh,
So
that's
like
cool.
she's sending out the Unstuck newsletter now that I've been sending out, but I just recorded myself doing it a few weeks ago and said, "Here's your training, how you do it," and then she's done it the last couple weeks.
That's so
it's
cool.
been it's been
That's really
super
cool.
awesome to kind of figure out how to like communicate and stuff without being in an office or even working at the same hours of the day.
Yeah.
Um,
That's something that me and my business partner like have one been
yeah.
trying to do for a while is
Uh-huh.
like what
Uh-huh.
kind of system works to understand what's high priority and needs to get done like this second and what can kind of like, wait till the end of the day or, maybe it can wait till tomorrow to do.
Yeah.
Because I swear sometimes it's just like I'll be in the middle of something, get an email like, "Hey, can you do this?" And I'm like,
Right. What's the
where
priority
does
level?
this land?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like can I finish what I'm doing or do you need this? Are you like on the phone with somebody right now, and
Right. Right.
vice
Yeah.
versa. So I mean, I'm
And then the
guilty
nice
of it
part
too.
about Trello color code. So we've done it where you can make the colors whatever you want, but we've done it where like red is high priority, must get done at some point this week, kind of a thing, right?
Okay.
And then orange is medium, and yellow is like uh, it nice if it got done this week, I guess, kind of a thing. And then we just have green for it's done, and that's how I
Okay.
can like
Yeah.
see that she's actually done things or whatever. So yeah, it's super nice to kind of figure that out. And once I figured that out, how to communicate synchronously, like it has just gone so smooth. Because even my training, it's just like I film myself explaining it on Loom, and I'm done. right? And so it's just as easy as if we were in the same office and I went, "Hey, come look at this real quick." Da 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 da. Okay, you got it. Bye. Like just as easy as that. I just click on Loom and I'm like, "Hey, da 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 da. Bye." And I put
Okay.
the link
But
on
it's
Trello.
evergreen. But it's
And it's
evergreen.
and she's gone back to see those things again and again because like some tasks I give her are monthly. Do this once a month,
Mm.
and of course you do that once, forget it by the next month. So
Yeah,
she's
for
been
sure.
able to go back and watch the training again next time she does it. So
Dang.
since we started doing that 3 weeks ago ish, like it's just been gangbusters. Like I just say something, it's evergreen, and she's on it.
Nice.
So my productivity has been fantastic because there's two of me doing little administrative tasks during the week around the larger like fixing
Yeah.
computers that I'm doing.
There you
So
go.
yeah, that's been
Lets you run
absolutely
around and
sweet.
save people's lives for a little while.
Yeah. No major updates on my course, which our listeners have been hearing a lot about, my podcast startup course. But I will say just real quickly that there was something wrong with the retargeting ads that I was talking about. So, Dustin, I did like a free PDF, like things you need to start your podcast. And
Okay.
then everyone who downloads that, if they go back on Facebook, they're now retargeted. They've been to my website. So now they
Mm.
5, 6 other versions of ads, like 5 reasons
Okay.
you need a podcast, or here's a video explaining stuff, just
Oh,
buy the
cool.
podcast startup course or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So all those retargeting ads, I was noticing like right after we stopped recording last week, I went to check on it and I was like, they're not spending any money, like $0 and 0 cents. And Facebook ain't doing anything for free. So that means my ads aren't getting shown. And I was like, is that because I have, like, I'm testing things right now, Dustin. So I'm like very, very small amounts of money to just kind of see how things go. I'm like, is
Yeah.
that because enough people to retarget at the moment? And that's why they're
Mm-hmm.
deploying or what? But
Yeah.
then by last Sunday, a couple of those started popping up in my feed because of course I've been to my website like checking
Okay.
on things. I was like, aha, so it's working.
It's pretty
um
egotistical of you, Josh.
I
You have
know,
your own
I'm just
website. Sheesh.
I'm mostly just being like, I want to watch the video of me again. No, but so Sunday, a couple of one version of them, which were just kind of articles I had written on my website and put an ad out there, those ads started popping up. And then like by Tuesday or Wednesday this week, the videos I had posted on Facebook of just like talking head, like holding up a phone, talking to the
Mm-hmm.
camera, like this is why podcasts are awesome. Those ads started popping up as well. And I was like,
Okay.
it's working.
You're
I've
like, oh,
I've
okay.
yet to look into why there was a delay, and so hopefully next week I'll know more.
Hmm.
But so far that, and so far like shout out to a few of my friends who have seen the ads and they like take a screenshot and send it to me like, look at your thing. I'm like, sweet, it's working.
I'll let you know
So
if I start getting blown up on it too.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I think that's starting to work.
Is part of that
And
like PDF of like starting a new podcast, get like lame monotone financial advisors in?
yes, absolutely. Like when you're on episode 88 of your podcast, get a monotone financial advisor who pretends to be casual.
Yep. Really round it out for you.
Really round it out. All right, real quickly, because we're going pretty long. What's everyone's goals for this week? Celestina.
Okay, goals for this week: continued outreach, nailing these phone calls. So just like following up with these people and making sure we actually get phone calls on, and listening to more mindset podcasts because that's going to really help me stay motivated.
Excellent. Dustin.
Goals for this coming week, set, or I guess this week. I'm not a good listener, I guess. Sheesh. But
Between now
set.
and next Friday.
Yeah, there. All right, sweet. Set 5 new client meetings. Whether that's just introduction for here's what we do, or if they have some sort of priority. So set one of those. I always try to get 2 1-to-1s for our BNI group in every single week. So got to set 2 of those, and then set 3 continuing meetings. So a total of 10.
Wow.
Nice. That's good and aggressive, and I'm gonna make you tell us how it went last Friday. So
Oh
you better
no.
do
You're gonna do an
it.
update on this? So I have
Yeah,
to follow up on it?
you have to follow up. You have to like send in a video so we can just play it on and say how it went.
Record all 10 calls and see how it
Yes.
goes.
Yeah. And we're gonna just play all the calls from beginning to end.
That's
unedited.
next week's podcast. How bad of a job do I do?
No, that's like the next 10 podcasts. All right. For me, my goal is to actually start selling this course. So that means I think things are working. I'm going to really focus on what specifically are the things within the things that are working, pour some real money into it, and see if I can get some course sales of it by next Friday. So finally, time is
Nice.
to see how this funnel thing goes.
I'm
All
sure
right.
it'll work out.
Yeah, I'm
Spend
sure it'll
money
be great.
to make money, you know?
You have to, but it's scary.
For sure.
We'll see. Okay, so that's a wrap on Casual Friday. If you got any questions for us, reach out unstuck.institute@gmail.com or hit us up on Instagram at unstuck.institute. And where can people reach out to you if they want to reach out to you?
Oh, me? Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought you said Celestina first. They like cut out.
know.
I mean, I'm on Facebook. You can find me at Dustin Soflin, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Instagram
Excellent.
is Dusty Donuts if you want to go follow that. Post pictures of the dog you saw earlier most of the time, but there's a few of me maybe, and maybe I'll get a second one following Celestina's tips too on Facebook and Instagram and get that going too. So
Excellent. If you haven't already, download our PDF Lifebook to keep the ball rolling on your own productivity. Get the Lifebook today at unstuck.institute/lifebook. And we'll see you next week. Have a good and maybe productive or relaxing weekend. Be to each other. Bye.
Bye, Unstuckers.
see you guys later. Thanks for having me.